Yes then people, and welcome back. Today we're going to go over how you can get shredded for summer. Most people make the mistake of doing way too much cardio, dropping the calories too low and not focusing on the things that matter. So today we're going to go over that. But first things first though, drop me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's get on with the video. Now to start with, remember that you're going to have to do this for 12 to 16 weeks. So you don't want to be doing anything too extreme. You want to slowly build it over time. We're going to split this video into 3 sections, which is going to be diet, training, and lifestyle. Now, firstly, diet. You want to be in a 500 calorie deficit, which is going to lead to you losing 1 pound of fat per week. Because 500 times 7 is 3,500. 3,500 calories is about a pound of fat. How you would do this is you can use many formulas online. They're all pretty much the same. None of them is going to give you exactly 100% accurate information, but the more data you put into there, like age, height, weight, activity levels, the better of a guess that you will get. And then when it gives you those calories, eat them for 2 or 3 weeks, see how much weight you lose. If you're losing more than a pound, add some calories. If you're losing less than a pound, take away a few calories. This is because you want to make sure you're not losing too much weight, because if you are losing weight too fast, then it's not going to be sustainable. So what I would recommend doing is stepping on the scales at least 3 times a week, but every day if you can, and then you take your weekly averages, and then off those weekly averages, you divide it by 7, and then you take it against last week's weekly averages, and if it's lower, you're losing weight. If it's not, you stay the same, and then after another week, reduce your calories. When it comes to reducing your calories, what I would recommend doing is reducing it from different meals. So most people will take away all the carbs from one meal, and I just don't think this is a great way to do it. You could reduce 20 grams of oats for your breakfast, 50 grams of rice for your dinner, and a piece of fruit throughout the day, and it feels like less of a change. Now we know how many calories we're going to be eating, let's get down to the breakdown of those calories. So firstly, protein, the most important. This is going to keep hold of your muscle, and it's the most satiating micronutrient. So I would advise eating more protein than the minimum amount that you are told to. I'm around 170 pounds. When I start cutting, I will eat 200 grams of protein. That's because it's more filling, so I'm going to suffer from hunger less. Protein has a higher thermic effect of food also, which means your body is going to use 20-30% of those calories just to break them down and use it. So the person that has a higher protein intake with the same calories equated will actually lose more weight in the long run. Now, when it comes to your carbs and your fats, what I would recommend is having higher carb and lower fat. Don't go any lower than 0.2 to 0.3 grams of fat per pound of body weight. However, if you're eating like a normal diet, oats have fat, bread has fat, meats have fat, so you probably would have to eat a very strange combined diet of chicken breasts and fizzy sweets just to not hit your minimum fat intake. Why I would suggest going higher carb is because most people are going to be more satiated by this, but just lower fat just to keep your fat intake at the level that you need to be a healthy individual. And then over time, you will reduce your calories from your carbs and your fats as you get deeper into the cut, but try to keep your protein high. This is going to enable you to stay fuller for longer. Finally, for diet, here are my bonus tips. Firstly, I would advise eating high volume, low calorie foods. Big salads. This is just going to add a lot of volume to your plate, which is going to allow you to stay fuller for longer. The fiber is also going to play a huge role because this is what slows down the digestion of foods in your body. Also, I would recommend drinking fizzy drinks. Yes, 0 calorie fizzy drinks actually have a positive effect on weight loss, and they do show correlation in helping you get it off and keeping it off for the long run. So 0 calorie fizzy drinks, no matter what you hear about the aspartame guys online, they're not bad for you. You'd have to drink an awful large amount of them for it to be bad for you. And if you were to drink, say, the same amount of normal fizzy drinks, then that would be a lot worse for you. Now, finally, meal timings. Your body releases a hormone called ghrelin into the blood when you are hungry. And your body will get into a cycle, so it releases the ghrelin at the same time every day. So what you can do is you can eat at the same time every day. If you just literally eat at, say, 8, 12, 4 and 8, for example, then you are going to find it a lot easier to stick to your diet because your body's always going to be releasing the ghrelin and you're just going to be eating at that time. You're not going to let yourself get really hungry this way because that is when most people slip up on their diet. Finally, for your calories, I would recommend taking your calories up to maintenance calories every 6 weeks. This is just going to give you a week diet break, and because you're at maintenance, you're just going to maintain your weight. This will allow you to reduce a lot of fatigue and you won't get as hungry. And then when you start your cut again after your week diet break, you're going to find it a lot easier to stick to your calories, and it will just reduce any fatigue or high levels of hunger that you had before. You'll probably move more as well when you're eating these more calories, which is just going to have a better effect when you do start your cut again. Now let's get on to the training. The training should not change when you're dieting. You shouldn't be doing high reps, chasing pumps. You should be doing your normal strength training, hypertrophy training routines. This is because one of the main indicators of maintaining your muscle is keeping your strength over the course of a cut. So if you're going really low weights and you're going high reps, then you're not stimulating the muscles the same way, and you're not actually giving your body what it needs to keep hold of the muscle. If you're in a calorie deficit, your body's already in a compromised state, and if you're not actually telling it to keep hold of the muscle by doing the training, then it will choose to lose that muscle, because it's very hard to keep hold of muscle opposed to keep hold of fat. It would rather use that because then it can use it for an energy source, and it's a lot less energy demanding. So just make sure that you keep your strength training the same in the 5 to 15 rep range. Probably don't go any higher than that. Also, when it comes to your training, psychological side of it is, most people believe that it's going to get really hard. Like, oh, this cut is going to be so horrible. It's going to be very draining. I'm not going to be able to keep up my same level of intensity. However, this isn't true. Maybe in the last 2 or 3 weeks of a diet, but realistically, you shouldn't be feeling any negative effects of cutting, at least until the very end. So if you go in and tell yourself it's going to be hard, then it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, yeah, it will be hard because you're telling yourself it will be hard. But if you say, oh, this is going to be easy, the first 10 weeks I won't even feel anything, then you probably won't. And this is what I've noticed over the years. Every time I used to go into a cut thinking this is going to be hard, it was horrible, and I really struggled to stick to my diet. But since I decided to reframe it and tell myself, oh, this is going to be easy, like, it's just a cut, I know everything I've got to do, I know all the protocols in place, and it was a lot easier to stick to. Now, cardio. This is where most people tend to slip up. You don't want to be doing high intensity cardio, or any cardio that is going to give you a lot more fatigue. This is because when you're dieting, you are in a state where you're already compromised, so you only have so much fatigue that you can take, and you are a lot more prone to injuries during this time. And high intensity cardio and long distance aerobic training is going to lead to a lot of fatigue. So I would recommend strictly longer walks, increase your steps. Don't have a specific time when you're going to be like, this is my cardio time. Just move more throughout the day, maybe walk every evening towards the end of your cut, but don't go for really energy demanding cardio, because that is just going to leave you fatigued, tired, and your strength training is going to be harder. And that is what you really need to focus on if you want to keep hold of that lean muscle that you have built during your bulk. Now, the lifestyle factors that you need to take into account to make it successful for you in the long run. I personally recommend during this period of time, if you just go into like a monk mode, you treat every day as the same. Obviously, there will be some social events, but definitely don't be drinking alcohol, and try to steer clear of meals that you already haven't predetermined what you're going to eat. So look at the menu beforehand and then don't even look at it when you get there. Because if you are just living the same day every day, then you know when to eat, you know what you're drinking, you know everything. It's just autopilot. However, if you're always chopping and changing things, then it's a lot harder to stick to. And 12 weeks of your life isn't a long time. So realistically, you can give up drink, you can give up shit foods just for that short period of time. And then after you cut, you can get back to them. Finally, sleep, which is probably the most important. If you're not sleeping 8 hours a day, then you're gonna find it a lot harder to stick to it, because sleep is where you recover, it's where you get rid of any fatigue that you've got, your body's just totally regenerating. When you have a lack of sleep, your ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, is gonna be higher. So you're gonna actually be hungrier the next day, so it's gonna be harder to stick to your diet. So what I would really recommend doing is prioritizing sleep. No phones before bed. It's only 12 weeks again. It's not that hard just to really focus in and do this stuff for a short period of time. Now, if you follow all of those things, you will have a very successful cut and you will find it a lot easier. If you don't do these things, then it's going to be harder than it needs to be, and you're probably not going to be as successful as you would like. You're not going to get as lean as you would like to get. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you like this video and you thought I missed anything out, or if there's any tips that you have for people. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Dose. Yeah. Started from the mud, now you see us going up. Numbers never lie, now you see